Okay, so I'm sort of into a little bit of a machining project today. Uh, Part machining, part welding, I guess, part fabricating, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, before I get into that, I wanted to let Paul know that I finally got his little piece of Britain situated so that I could get his sticker mounted in my garage here. So again, big thanks to the Knackler's Workshop. Really appreciate the sticker, and I will get this mounted over with the other guys. Hopefully, hopefully sometime before I croak. But anyways, so back to the other stuff. So I don't particularly care to do welding projects on the Logan lathe because, well, it's semi-nice for me anyways, and this old Hindy's just, you know, pretty well beat up anyways, so it seems like it's a much better candidate to do welding on. But even at that, I still, as you can see, got it covered up pretty aggressively. So yesterday I was talking about doing that tensioning pulley arm, and while obviously I still intend to do that, I got an idea last night when I was trying to go to sleep. So one of the things that these John Deeres have that the sun kind of takes its toll on is these little plastic knobs. They have, I think it's brass inserts here. These are to allow you to adjust the seats on these 300 and 200 series tractors. Well, you know, being 40 some odd years old on some of these machines, and a lot of them sitting out in the sunlight and rain and rusting up the nuts or bolts that these go on, the plastic doesn't tend to hold up very well. So it dawned on me, since I have some 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square stock that I scrounged up, and I have all of these structural bolts that I scrounged up for moving the Cochran Bly when I first got it, I decided I could weld together something like those nuts, or hand wheels, thumb wheels, whatever you want to call them. The only issue I've had so far is I didn't anticipate, and I should have, that this steel is a little bit harder. It's not terribly mild, so I'm having a little bit of trouble tapping it. I have to go to my really good tap, which isn't like an issue all to itself. The only catch is my good tap is a spiral point tap, so I have to drill a through hole through these things to make this work out the way I wanted, and I didn't really want to. I wanted to have this side of it closed so that it matched as much as possible, to the extent possible, the original. But that in itself is not the end of the world. Let's see if this is, yeah, I think it's cool enough. So anyways, I've just got it tacked right now. Obviously it's not very pretty, but it's a really good start. And obviously it's not going to be, you know, totally identical, but it doesn't have to. It's going to be sitting underneath the seat, so it's not like anybody's really going to see it. But I think the rain might have let up for the day, so maybe with any amount of luck I'll get this outside and finish up the welding on this particular one, hopefully before I drop it and accidentally knock off one of these arms. But it's not perfectly symmetrical. I've got a couple of the arms out of whack. I think really maybe just this one here is a little out of whack, but there again, being underneath the tractor seat, it's really not going to be that noticeable, so I'll just go with it. I need to produce about 8 of these things overall, but I don't think I'm going to mess with all of them yet today. So after coming up with this crazy idea, it dawned on me, and I don't think I've got one on either of the 2 tractors that are out here right now. Yeah, I do not. Anyways, there's supposed to be an arm or a lever, I don't know what you want to call it exactly, that sits on here to tension up this. This tensions up the mule drive to for the PTO to the mower deck. And it dawned on me that that would be another good place to fabricate something out of steel to replace the plastic that they are, from the factory. So one of these days, that one's not a terribly high priority either, but I know I kind of got a little bit sidetracked from what I was doing on this, but yeah, what can you say? My mind kind of goes on a walkabout. So there's the generator I was tinkering with earlier. One other thing that irritated the crap out of me yesterday, the fender pans on these John Deere 200s are not exactly terribly fun to remove because they have these things that stick out and get in the way, and then they have these that are sticking out and getting in the way. So I'd kind of gotten accustomed to that, but what I didn't anticipate, this is one of the earlier generation of the 200 series machines, was that they did it a little bit differently on this early generation. I had to get the fender pan up over this entire, I had to actually get this entire brake pedal out of the frame first and then wiggle it out of the hole in the fender pan. Needless to say, I was not happy about that, and I am not putting it back together the original way because that really, really sucks. This is the hole that I'm talking about. You can see somebody's had problems with it even before me, but I'd like to strangle the engineers that come up with some of this stuff. They just don't think this shit through, but whatever. It is what it is. We've all been there before, and certainly we will all be there more in the future. But anyways, I'll let you guys go and see if I can come up with something else interesting today or tomorrow.